MLP Digital Paint. Join me May 23rd for a virtual Father's Day paint party. It's gonna be fun. Bring a pre-painted blue canvas, your brushes, your color palette, and of course, your drink of the night. Welcome to my channel. We'll be tackling a subject every other week leading into a paint party. This week we're recognizing 7 subjects that will help us prepare for this painting. Galileo first observed the moon on November 30th, 1609. He was comparing the dark and light shadows right around the Terminator. The Terminator is not the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie you think about, rather the division line between light and dark, usually in a spherical object. Beyond the Terminator, where it's darkest, is very often a lack of color. Just by adding black to a color doesn't mean you're creating that shadow effect. When painting the moon, we also want to understand that the moon's features are very specific to our moon. Wind is the primary force of movement on the ocean's surface. Wind is also responsible for the ocean's currents and waves. When we look at a photo or a painting, our mind automatically interprets the weather. Calm surfaces means there's no wind. A little ripple effect means a slight breeze. Stronger ripples means the wind is a little higher. And when it's stormy, we start hearing words like choppy and whitecap. So remember, when painting a sea scene, the amount of ripple will tell your audience the weather. Reflection in water is very often the lightest and the last color you apply to your canvas. Today we want to recognize color in reflection. Shallow ocean water is usually turquoise in color, but deep ocean water very often seems bottomless and is usually represented by a blackish blue. If your painting represents the daytime, very often your reflections will be darker. But if your painting is in the evening, very often your reflections will be lighter. And when approaching your painting, it's easiest to think about it in 3 parts. The first being your color lay-in, the second your perspective, what color represents that, and the third is to lay in your highlight. Are all horizons straight, or do you even see a horizon? Maybe it's out in the horizon. Some people manipulate the horizon, but others play in it. Some horizons are stark in contrast, while others gently fade away or have a simple glow. Some horizons are simply defined by what's in the foreground. So when preparing your painting, ask yourself, what's beyond? What's in your horizon? If we remember that stars can't shine without darkness, then we understand the colors of the night. We probably already understand the colors of the night as a dark blue, or a color palette of 3 to 5 shades of blue. But other colors will bring emotion to the nighttime and bring your scene an ambiance. The whimsy of an aurora borealis against a night sky is startling, but also brings emotions of joy. Or a candlelit glow can penetrate the night, comforting us with a warm emotion. So let's remember that the spectacle of color in a nighttime scene evokes emotion. A good way to feel accomplished about your painting is to lay down your predominant overall color. This means a solid coat of paint or a solid 2 coats of paint. To find your predominant color, use a color deck or put your color palette close to the object you're going to paint. Another thing you're going to want to ask yourself is, are you painting from light to dark, or are you painting from dark to light? This will inevitably help you make your color lay-in decision. With a little practice, you'll eventually be able to lay in several colors as your quote-unquote painting's rough draft. A painting can look complex, but be easy to execute, or vice versa. We can take a complex subject and simplify it, for example, a stencil or a graphic logo. But we can also take a simple subject and make it more complex by adding detail, like a mandala. Remember that skill can be the assessment of when simplicity says more, or when details enhance the mundane. I hope you've enjoyed our journey this week, recognizing the moon and how to paint the moon.